Go live on a couple of platforms. Thank you for your patience. Haribol, nice to see you. Radhe Radhe. So victory to the goddess, victory to you for being alive at the sacred time. I am grateful to be with you. Hello. My name is I said my name is Radhe. Jai Shri Devi Dasi, representing the goddess, Srimati Radharani, and all her cohorts in life. It's very nice to connect. And how are you feeling today? It is a most empowered time, and I am radically vulnerable. I am feeling incredibly emotional, as most of us are in this roller coaster. So let us begin with a big breath and an aha gratitude moment of just, whew, we're making it through. We're making it through this up level, we're making it through this time, and we're making it through this ascension. Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you guys. Thank you for being here. Rise of the Sacred Sovereign is a conversation. And I really want to know, hi Felicia, it's nice to see so many people. I want to know what you want to talk about. I would like to know what you would like channeled. I know that we are all in this together. I know that June is a powerful time, as well as every epic micro moment on this macro experience and up level we are all going through. I hope you are healthy. I hope you are feeling loved. Most of us, myself included, are feeling incredibly vulnerable, incredibly shifted. I've been thinking about sacred self-care and why we don't practice sacred self-care. And I think it has something to do with this shift we're all going through. But for myself, as I said, I want to say my sacred pranams, Dandavat pranams to you, to my Srila Gurudev, and I just want to call upon whoever is awakening at this time to put our collective prayers in together, you and I, and just hold this sacred space. You can bring your hands together or your fingers together. You can close your eyes. You can go in deep and just take this collective inhale through your nose. And this full exhale. Again, a breath in and a breath out. For those of us that are awakening into our psychic bodies, we are being moved around in such a way that bombardment is coming. The bombardment and the shift is that we are becoming who we were meant to be. Thank you, Felicia. Haribol Pankaj. We are becoming the people we are meant to be, and we are no longer the people we were born as, because who we were born as had identities and names and family, generational trauma and patterns attached to our subtle body. Take another breath for that. Inhale. And exhale. And as we breathe in, literally press the energy back down into Mother Earth. May we make our breath at this 11:08 moment a collective prayer for everybody to reveal themselves for who we are, which is going to be ugly and messy and beautiful at the same time. Feeling that incredible breath in and that breath out. Make a space in the altar of your heart. You have room, you have time, you're here right now. Make space in your heart to tap in to the worship of your beloved, of whoever you deem the divine to be, of your parents, of your parents' parents, of all of the people pained, embodied, and moving through that pain. And at such a time as now, take a collective inhale and exhale for those who cannot. Exhale for those who do not have spiritual friendships or values or principles that are aligning with what they wish to be in the world. For yourself, if you are having a hard time with alignment as you wish to be in the world, take a breath in for that and an exhale for that. How are you doing as you transform into your new skin? as it has been told, we are going through this sacred revolution as human beings. Your truth is what you feel in the moment when you tap into that altar of the heart and connect to your divinity. And your truth is who you are as well in the triggered moments that you feel completely out of control and completely misunderstood. The moments where you are ready to burst and cry and exhale because you are a jiva, a soul in this body, and not trapped. No. We're not trapped here. We are empowered lions and lionesses, empowered to speak the truth about our mission as jivas, as souls embodied in this Kali Yuga. And if that sounded weird, just wait, because I'm going to drop some more Sanskrit on you. And you know why I do that? You know why I speak Sanskrit? Because it's the oldest language in the world. And every New Age philosophy is just taking from Sanskrit anyway. That's just real. So, in respect to you and your breath and where you are right now, may I connect to you and channel with you and up-level with you. It's been hard. Not gonna lie. Right? Moving, getting ill, all of us up-leveling, having babies, not having babies, wanting to have babies, working hard to find a business or even an inch in business, which is a spiritual process in itself. We're grihastas, we're married. What we're supposed to be doing, or what we are trying to do, is have namahat. Namahat, it means a home where the spiritual values and principles are expressed through our words, our deeds, and our actions as we connect with society, even though we all have different forms of the divine. And in this house, we speak all of it. We cry. Narayani, my daughter, she's learning, she's growing, she's having awkward moments, she's having genius moments like everybody. But we keep putting the divine on top. And to do that in this day and age is almost sacrilegious. It's confusing. So again, the breath in, the breath out. I actually came here today to share that I am finally making a commitment to go back into the world and teach more yoga. Yoga asana, because that breath and that meditation is what taps people in right away. It taps you in right away. And thank you everybody who's sharing that you're having various issues being on the live stream. We will share this live stream in various ways later. And for whatever it's worth, what is it that you are working with as a block? What is the block to your spiritual progress? What is the block to your business progress? What is the block? It's not a secret that we all have them. We all have blocks. I have a block to writing my 3rd book right now. I have had a block to going out into the world at various times. I have had a block with taking and working with the right medicine tools, wanting to be a certain way or perfect or all natural, and recognizing my faults and my anarthas. There are so many blocks. But this time is about not only recognizing that we have the blocks, but attuning to the medicine tools that work. What I have tapped into from reading Vedanta, not just being on a psychic platform and channeling and tuning into the psychic, this is a very real time. I need real tools. That's why Sanskrit and Vedanta works for me as, a devotee of divinity and a student of life. This idea that I am bringing about of having a spiritual home that is our outside world and making a spiritual altar in the heart. This is about matching my words and my actions with my qualities. It's not easy to be in the world. It's not easy to be seen. And there are a lot of forces that are telling me, personally me, to be quiet and to be small and to not be powerful and not to roar. Which is the lie. The lie is that we are meant to be small, and the lie is that we are not here to express a truth that not only do we connect to individually, not only that you know when you go into that altar of your heart, but that you also know because everyone who is having a human experience is feeling it as well. So whether we're talking about the overreach of the medical establishment, the government, the overreach of people in power, the overreach of whatever, there are so many ways to talk about that, and the lies that are in the world, and that's not even naming anything specific, which I'm happy to do, by the way, when we talk one-to-one or in groups or in my teams and in my school. Happy to talk about all of that. But time, place, and circumstance says we are in a time of overreach. But what about the under? What about the subtle energetics and the passive-aggressive shifts that are happening in society? It's almost worse than that's what's happening overtly. And that's in the ethers. And that's in the subtle realm. In the soul mapping matrix, we break down very clear, eternal rules and regulations for humanity that are usually not spoken of in New Age or psychological or other kinds of socio-political paradigms, not in regular school, not in regular medical offices, because they are so powerful that they slap you in the face and they say, holy God, this is still about this. This is still about spiritual principles and values. This is still about what it is to run a business as a spiritual person. This is still about boundaries. This is still about the modes of material nature. And in Soul Mapping Matrix, we go there. We talk about the gunas, or the modes and qualities of sattva, raja, tama, which is to say the mode of goodness, which has a positive and a negative attribute to it, the mode of passion, which has a positive and a negative or shadow aspect to it, and the mode of tamas, which in itself can be inertia, but has a positive side of it when it is talked about as ojas, which is the principal value, right? Rajas gets talked about as tejas, which is power, fire, agni, a positive value. And sattva, of course, has good values when it's talked about as a nurturing, loving, sustainable, honest way of being. I say this because there is a shadow side in everything, my friend. And if we don't look at the shadow side and we don't talk about it and we don't get uncomfortable, nothing will get done. My experience is that I'm seeing this in spiritual circles as well as in the material world, which, by the way, is all the same thing. So teaching yoga, me coming back to teaching yoga will be for me a way to get over any hurdles from having a baby and having complete trauma from that, or from moving my whole world to a state that has even more overreach than the one I'm coming from, going into the belly of the beast, from supporting a huge, amazing, perfectly awesome spiritual community that still has humans in it and has lots of stuff to work through as we continue to do, as well as all that stuff I work through with my own family and my parents and the world at large. And basically, none of us really wanted to be seen for a while because we were told to play small. Radhe, Radhe. We were told to be small. We were told to become quiet. We were told to do this. First of all, now we're in a time, Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Now we're in a time where the truth is coming out. Now, Srila Prabhupada and my Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and all Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all of these amazing saints, who some were policemen, some were householders, some wrote books, some were judges. These are real people living in the world, speaking about the same spiritual values that come down through the ages and then get taken and utilized, which is great. You can take a spiritual value, like we're talking about modes of material nature, gunas, and we're saying the mode of goodness, and then you can talk about that from a different etymology, right? You can talk about it from the history of interplay with Christianity as a religion, or Greeks as a culture, or Egyptians. You can talk about any spiritual value that doesn't change eternally in its dharma or its form, its roop, and you can turn it into something that works for you or us. What has not happened before on such a grand scale, but which was told about and prophesied, was that we would be massively hypnotized by perverting everybody's truth to fit a narrative that would scare us enough into doing something that someone else wanted them to do. And is that the art form of business? No, that's not commerce. That's not exchange. That is not honesty or intelligence. That is simply something else. It's a different mode. And, I used to come in and talk about, all this powerful, essential truths about, how the etymology of demons was talked about in the Bhagavad Gita or all the Srimad Bhagavatam, how all of the saints have always put it in different ways. I've had talks with interfaith ministers and Christians, and we'll talk about it in different ways. And it's all the same conversation. Are we living in our true nature of Sat Chit Ananda, which is Sanskrit for eternal Sat, Chitta conscious, and blissful Ananda, as jivas, as souls embodied here in a flesh bag? And are we serving because that's our eternal nature? And Soul Mapping Matrix, my little tiny business, and my academy, and all of these courses that I promise I'm trying to get out while homeschooling my 4-year-old and having just moved a year ago, all of that in the Soul Mapping Matrix is a microcosm vision of the macrocosm of the Vedas, which again is the eternal structure of living good life and never changes. And so I hope that I can continue to serve in that way and give that. But until then, and during that time, I simply ask, how are you doing? How are you in awareness of the blocks? Because I can ask now, right? I mean, we're past the time of, let's be honest, we're past the time of pretending that we knew what was happening 2 years ago completely. And we are in the phase of trying to integrate what we now know. And of course, in the social world, we have all this proof coming through constantly. Some of us have been seeing that for a long time. Some of us have not known it all. Some of us are just doing our best. This is sad. It's really quite sad. Look at the elder. Where have the elderly been over the past year and a half? How have people been isolated? How have people been, put into a box to fit a certain way of being a narrative that somehow everything would work for everybody? That's never, ever worked in society. But we're past blaming. We're past just yelling about it. We want solutions. We want solutions. I want solutions. So for me, I go back to the Vedas and I say, okay, what are the modes of nature that I am subtly, passively, or subconsciously connecting to? And how is that affecting my inner body and my mind? How is that affecting my actions? How is that affecting my words, my actions, and then that, of course, is affecting my mood. But we have to start before that. And that's why yoga asana is so important, because the body physically has to be addressed. Now, not everyone has to address the body. Some people will be able to attempt to bypass the body because they are going to chant their mantras and they're going to not have to self-care so much because God is in charge, and that's true. I have no problem with that. But for me, because I have so much pain and karma and anarthas, I have so many unwanted tendencies, I have so many faults. It results specifically in pain, both physically, but then, okay, I fixed the pain. I got my tools, I'm going to asana, I'm working it out, I'm taking the right herbs, I'm taking the right medicines. If I've cut out any, alcohol, cut out any drugs that are affecting me negatively. And now I'm just going to work with the subtle body. The subtle body. What is the subtle body? Your subtle body is your energy system that has been passed on to you from the collective. Wait, what? Wait, the subtle body that I have, the sheath inside and outside my physical body that is always be affected by the energetic shifts and changes in the atmosphere, in the ethers, is affected, oh yeah, by the collective. So if it's not just the collective that's giving me programming and lies that's fucking with me and disturbing my desire to live a sattvic, good-natured life in the mode of goodness, as well as living by the principal dharmas of whatever you deem God to be. I believe God is beautiful, auspicious, powerful, rich in the sense of wealthy, empowered, all of those things. If I want my subtle body to reflect that so that my mind doesn't have to deviate so much between this and that, and I can go to my higher intelligence and use my intelligence wisely, that's going to be for a spiritual value. To do that, I have to deal with what's happening in the collective. And that's really hard. It sucks. Haribo, hi. It really is exhausting to listen to the collective. And for those of you who are empaths or are awakening in your psychic world, I want to hug you and honor you and say, oh my God, look what happened. I got chained to you with love. For those of you who are awakening empaths, psychics, are finding out that your subtle body is really being affected by what's going on in the collective, you are not alone. And now is a very good time to reconnect to your nervous system, your physical nervous system. Take things slow. Take lots of breath. Inhale and exhale. This is why I'm going to finally go back out into my new community and teach, bring workshops. Kala and I go play cello, give the goods about Ayurveda and the health sciences, and match the inside with the outside. Match the physical body to the subtle body, and then upgrade and elevate our minds. It is mind-blowing to realize that you are affected by the collective, and it is worse at points to realize that you may have been gaslighted by the collective. It's really painful. I know, because gaslighting is one of the karmas that I keep going through. I was gaslighted during the birth of my daughter. I was gaslighted a few times in other ways in the medical community. I get gaslighted into thinking I have to give my power away. I get gaslighted into thinking that being completely psychic is weird or strange, and that being an empath means I have to come down to the level of what? Jealousy, envy, anger, greed, which are all the sins that we all know exist, because from time immemorial, they get spoken of over and over and over again, no matter what language you put it into. So, getting honest about that, getting honest about lust, anger, envy, greed, and how that shows up subtly or passively in society, and how it showed up during the past 2 years is kind of important. And I'm not here to talk about that with you in Rise of the Sacred Sovereign, but in Rise, we do talk about the truth, your truth and my truth, and how we can collectively up-level. So, talking about yoga means not only the physical body, and this is important because I have so many people who don't want to talk about pain, who don't want to talk about the ugliness of what's happening in the collective. But if we don't talk about the ugliness of what's happening in the collective, we cannot evolve as a collective. And individually, we kind of run into our little turtle shell, I do, and we don't want to serve. And you want to know the problem with not serving the way you're really meant to serve? Whether you're a chef, whether you're an actor, whether you're a healer, whether you are a voiceover coach, whether you are a therapist or a doctor or a scientist or an academic or a Vaishnav just trying to be in the world and chant your mantras and be happy. The problem with not living your dharma is that you are a jiva, a soul embodied here to do a very specific job, and that your altar in the heart is connected to your vision of the divine. And again, who is the divine? The divine is spoken of in Vedanta and in every single religion or community the same way, but with different language. It's the same landscape, though. Auspiciousness, beauty, power, intelligence. These are good qualities, but especially chastity. And chastity meaning spiritually working on purifying your mind, working on clearing, not being perfect. It's not a perfection thing, which is the lie. The only perfection is in the divine quality. We just simply aspire to mirror the divine quality and be in relationship with each other. That is what I'm teaching. That's what I'm just trying to mirror. And so I do that through teaching yoga. I do that through the soul mapping matrix. I'm trying to do it through mirroring it in spiritual community with my daughter and with everyone else. What are you mirroring? That would be a question I ask. And then you might notice a block. What is the block? Again, the block is that I don't want to be in the world. Why? Because the world is telling you to be small. I don't want to share my gifts. Why? Because the world says I have to have a regular 9 to 5 and make sure I'm making a certain amount of money and make sure I'm taking a certain medication and make sure I'm having the baby a certain way. There is no one size fits all for the jiva. You are soul. You are eternally situated in a relationship divinely. But on this playground, you are here to learn. You are here to evolve. And we are here to do it together. If you would like to learn more about Rise of the Sacred Sovereign, my online, if you'd like to learn more about Soul Mapping Matrix, which is why we share Rises of the Sacred Sovereign, you can go to jaishriyoga.com. On jaishriyoga.com, you can learn about the Soul Mapping Matrix online digital platform, which I am working very hard to break up into different courses. The Soul Culture Yoga School, which we will be launching again sometime between 2022 and 2023. And of course, mentorship, which is what I have been doing mostly while raising my amazing daughter, supporting Bhakta Bandhav, and living in a brand new community. Please visit me there. Thank you for joining me. Take a big breath in again. And as you bring your hands onto your heart and your belly, remind yourself that you have this. An awakening psychic, an awakening empath simply means you're a human being here on earth to embody sacred wisdom. Be not afraid of yoga. Be not afraid of meditation. And never forget that the altar in your heart connects you directly to your source, your guide, and your truth. I would love to be with you on that journey because being a human is amazing. Lots of love to you. Radhe, Radhe.